Sam Carchidi covers the Flyers, Philly.com, Philadelphia Inquirer, and has seen the decline, Sam. As where would you kind of put your thumb on where the offense went? When did it just vanish?
It probably vanished right after that 10-game winning streak. If you look at that 10-game winning streak, they couldn't do anything wrong. And now you look at them, and it's almost 2 months now since that winning streak, and they can't do anything right. Claude Giroux is Exhibit A. He was plus 10 during that 10-game winning streak. He's now minus 19 since December 14th. So he's minus 19 in the last 24 games. And, he's not scoring. He only has 2 goals in his last 20 games. And to his credit, he took the blame, pointed the finger at himself today. He said, I have to be better. I have to be doing more. They take my lead. I'm just not doing it. And he was pretty emotional. And you don't usually see Giroux step up like that. So I think it was good to see him step up like he did and point a finger at himself. And maybe it'll take some pressure off of the other players because they're pressing. There's no question about it. They're getting some chances and, they're firing wide or they're, shooting the puck right at the goalie. And there just seems to be a split second late on rebounds out front. And, like I said before, all those things that they did right during the winning streak are just going against them now. And I don't think Jordan Wheel's going to be the answer, but he may spark them a little bit. He'll be in the lineup tomorrow on the second line. So it tells you about the state of the Flyers now. He can bring up somebody from the AHL and he automatically goes to the second line left winger. So that just shows you they're really desperate right now for scoring from their top 6 and from everybody, really.
Sam, let's talk about Claude Giroux because Mike and I have gone back and forth a little bit on Claude Giroux and how he speaks after the game and specifically his comments last night versus now, what you're saying his comments are today, and then how Wayne Simmons tends to get. Wayne Simmons is a little bit more fired up. He gets a little more angrier. Some of his quotes may be a little bit more colorful, but does that make Giroux any less of a leader?
No, I don't think so. To me, you lead. To me, the captaincy is one of the most overrated things in sports, I think you lead by example. And, Giroux is relentless on the ice. I mean, he is having an off, I wouldn't say an off season, I'd say an off 2 months here. He just doesn't have the speed. And I asked him today point blank if he's having any after effects from his hip and abdominal surgery, and he said absolutely not. That's just an excuse. And he just does not have the jump, as I said, as he's had in the past. But to me, I think a leader leads by his example on the ice. And Giroux may not be scoring now, but he does work hard. He is relentless out there. And I think the players in his locker room genuinely like him and like him as a captain. So I think that's a little overplayed. But would you like Giroux to stand up and take more responsibility? And sure you would, but that, I think that's a little overrated, but, more importantly, they need him to lead on the ice. And quite frankly, as he said today, he hasn't been doing that the last 2 months.
10 goals in his first 35 games, only 2 goals in his last 20. Spending a few minutes with Sam Carchidi at Broad Street Bull is his Twitter blog to find out the latest about all the Flyers and the happenings. And now the captaincy and who should be the captain and who's the talker may be overrated, Sam, but it's the Flyers, so that means we have to talk about the goalies. And last night it was Steve Mason. From my vantage point, which would be the television in my house, it looked like the Cizikas goal was a real backbreaker, and I thought that was a soft goal for Mason. If Neuvirth was healthy yesterday, do you think Neuvirth would have gone instead of Mason? And do you see them still having goaltending issues again?
Yeah, I think Michael Neuvirth would have gone yesterday if he was healthy. He's healthy now. I just talked to him a couple of hours ago, and he's ready to go. Looks like he will start tomorrow. It'll be his 4th start in the last 5 games. Mason admitted that, he did not have his best of nights last night. And let's face it, he's been up and down all year. They're looking for the Steve Mason of last year, of the second half of last year. He's put together some good streaks, but he's put together some really up and down streaks as well. Both goalies, you can say, Michael Neuvirth, forget about the last 3 games when he's played well, but if you look at his whole body of work, he has not been that good either. So both goalies have not helped themselves in the free agent market, and, they have about 2 months now to prove that they deserve either an extension with the Flyers or that they can play somewhere else. So they have the motivation. But, so far I'm really surprised. I thought one of them would step up this year. So far it hasn't happened. Maybe Neuvirth does step up now. He's healthy. He was ill, and that's why he missed last night's game. But he looked good in practice today, and you'll see him against San Jose, on Saturday afternoon.
Hey, Sam, give us your assessment of the Gostisbehere handling and how this has all gone down. There's a guy who was the athlete of the year last year, right? I mean, didn't he just win an award? Philly sports writers named him the athlete of the year. He was pretty much a key component to getting them to the playoffs last year. A ton of big goals to being sitting in the press box with you the last couple nights. Last night.
Yeah, he was named the Philadelphia Sports Writers Philly Pro Athlete of the Year. For what he did last season, as you said, he was tremendous. 17 goals, set a rookie record for a defenseman with 15 points. Points in 15 games in a row. And I agree with you. Without Gostisbehere, they do not make the playoffs last year. His defense was a little better last year, and I think teams have a book on him now. And it's hurt him defensively and offensively. You see him getting double teamed, but I'm not as concerned with his offense. I know he only has 4 goals, and I don't think he scored in 28 straight games as far as a goal. But he's had a lot of chances. By my count, he's hit the post or the crossbar 6 times in the last month. So he's played in a little bit of bad luck. Defensively, he has struggled. There's no sugarcoating that. He really has struggled. I don't think that said, I don't think he should have been sitting. This is a team that, either they're going to make the team playoffs as an 8th-seeded team, or they're going to just miss the playoffs. So, I don't think anybody sees them getting past the first round. You might as well get the experience, get these young kids the experience. I'm glad they brought up Wheel. I know you don't want to see Travis Konecny go out, but, to me, it's time to find out about these young kids. I would have brought up Sam Moran, actually, a couple of weeks ago, too, because they do have problems clearing out the crease out front. And we talked about the struggles of Mason and Neubert this year. Well, the defense has struggled too, and that's part of the reason they have struggled. So, you could see Mason getting traded to another team or signing with another team that's real sharp defensively and putting up great numbers next year. So, that's something you have to evaluate too before you decide whether you're going to re-sign these goalies or not. But getting back to Shayne Gostisbehere, he is part of the future of the Flyers. He'll be a third-pairing defenseman, a guy who's terrific on the power play, a guy who's great on the 3-on-3 overtime, and he is what he is, and they need him in there. And he gives the power play a spark. We saw last night. He was responsible for Wayne Simmons' goal, and I thought he was very creative. He had been I thought too tentative in some of his previous games. So though I didn't agree with the benching, maybe he did learn something, because we saw little glimpses last night of Shayne Gostisbehere offensively. Defensively, he's always going to be a work in progress, and he has to get a little bigger up top. And but they'll have to spot him and use him in the right situations, much like you use Michael Del Zotto. But I think Gostisbehere has even a lot more offensive potential than Michael Del Zotto.
Sam Carchidi with us. Flyers lose 3-1 last night to the Islanders. The loss, coupled with Boston's win over San Jose, puts the Bruins in that final wild card spot. Flyers slip out of a playoff spot for the first time since January 21st. They have lost 3 straight, only 1 goal over those 3 straight games, and that turns my attention, Sam, then to the coach. You see Ken Hitchcock get fired in St. Louis. You see Claude Julien and 419 wins in the Stanley Cup get fired in Boston. Is Dave Hakstol feeling the heat?
I don't think so. He has a 5-year contract, Pete, and I'd be very surprised if they made a move. He was brought in to nurture and develop these young guys, and yes, they have a few young guys on the team, but they really, we really haven't seen the mass exodus of players coming up from the minors. I think we'll see that next year, where you'll see a Sanheim here, you'll see a Sam Moran here. You're going to see a few other guys as well. So. And that's why he was brought here. So I think you'll see him at least 1 more year. And if those guys aren't developing next year, and we're talking about missing the playoffs at the end of next year, and the team looks like it looks like the young guys aren't developing, then it may be an issue. But I really don't see any issue at all right now.
All right, Flyers back in action tomorrow afternoon. You can hear the game right here on 97.3 ESPN. As the Flyers really struggle, and we'll see if they can get hot again and change some, the feeling around this team. But right now, it looks like a team, as Sam said, they're either an 8 seed or they're on the outside looking in. Sam Carchidi from the Philadelphia Inquirer. Thank you, Sam.
Thank you, guys. Always like talking hockey with you.